Okay guys, listen, September 2021 was an absolute nightmare. That budget which I created, let's just take it and throw it in the bin because the month was a mess, my budget was a mess, and everything that could go wrong literally went wrong in the month of September. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, thanks for stopping by, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back to watch another video. It's so great to have you here with me again today. Right, guys, we've got a lot to discuss in today's video because my budget for September was an absolute mess, and yeah, everything that could go wrong went wrong. My expenses were just all over the place in the month of September, so we've got a lot to catch up on and there's a lot to kind of bring you up to speed with. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the numbers. In fact, before I do that, if you're new around here and you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, do subscribe and hit the thumbs up because it really does help with the channel and it helps algorithms to push it out to a wider audience so that more people can just see me mess up my budget on a monthly basis. But no, in all seriousness though, thanks for stopping by, and yeah, without further ado, I want to show you exactly what went wrong in my September 2021 budget. And I share these numbers to kind of inspire anybody else on their financial journey to know that it doesn't always go according to plan. You have your highs, you have your lows, you have your good months, you have your bad months. But the main thing is that you get up, you dust yourself off and you try again. And that's definitely what I'll be doing in the month of October. But without further ado, let's jump into those September 2021 numbers so that you can see exactly where it all went wrong. Okay, so here we have my September 2021 budget. Obviously, if you're new around here and this is the first budget video you're watching, sorry about this, but it is usually better than this on a monthly basis. And I'm just letting you know at the start of this video that this budget template in which I use for my budget on a monthly basis is available for sale on my Etsy store and on my website, so you can grab it via the link in the description box below. It is a great spreadsheet, but it only works as good as your application, and my application in September unfortunately was not fantastic, but we're going to get into that now. So first of all, we have the opening balance, and in the month of September, for the first month ever, we started on zero, which was absolutely amazing because that basically meant that in the month of August there was no deficit that was carried over into the month of September. So it meant that all the money that we accrued in August was available to then spend on our expenses in the month of September. The same is not going to be true for October, unfortunately, because September, let's just say straight away off the bat, we went over budget. How much we went over by, I'm going to get to by the end of the video. But have a guess in the comment section below actually and tell me how much you think we overspent by, and yeah, you'll see at the end of the video how close or how far off you were. So then we have income, and income is something that we do black out at the moment, but the income at the moment, we have 7 different streams. So we have my husband's work, his private work that he does on the side, his side hustle, which is Better You In Too. He has a channel where he talks about basically different personal finance and motivational books in animated form, so he does like animated video summaries. I'll link his channel in the description box below so you can check it out actually, because he's really good at what he does. And then I've got my income, and then my side hustle, my blog, and all the active side hustles that I do as well, and then just any other income that comes in, so a tax rebate for example, or gifts that we want to put in the budget. Those kind of things fall under the other category. So those are the different income streams in which we have. And then if we move quickly into our expenses for the month of September, you'll quickly see where things started to go downhill. So let's start off with the food category, and surprise, surprise, as if clockwork, every single month, this is the area in which we struggle with. But having said that, when we did our budget walkthrough, the September budget walkthrough, you'll see that I had spent quite a lot of our grocery budget as well. I think I had spent like close to 200, if not more. I can't remember. I'll link it in the description box below so you can check it out. But we had spent quite a lot of our grocery budget quite early on in the month because we did a really big shop. So to have only gone over by £23 when we had like 3 weeks of the month left is actually not too bad, to be honest, because I thought that that was going to be one area that we was going to like literally blow the budget, but we did blow it, but not like a ridiculous amount. So we were over groceries by £23. Takeaways, again, we had spent quite a lot of our takeaway budget when I did the walkthrough. So for 3 weeks to have gone over by £34 is not the worst case scenario, but obviously it's still higher than the amount that we had allocated, which is not good practice and not a good example at all. So yeah, takeaways, we were over. Lunch, again, we didn't set anything for lunch, and that came in at £5.95p. Costco, we didn't actually budget for it in the month of September, and that's because in that budget walkthrough video I mentioned the fact that there were a lot of expenses that we had to pay for in the month of September. So Costco had to kind of be deprioritized, and we said we'll revisit it in the month of October. And then toiletries, we had budgeted £50 and we went over by £12.47. So per category it doesn't seem that bad, but as you can see it kind of adds up, and we've already gone over our budget by £76.36. But you know the saying goes, when it rains it pours, and it definitely poured heavy in the month of September because it gets worse as we go through this budget. If we move on to our home expenses, I knew that this was going to happen when I did the budget walkthrough because I made a mistake in allocations for council tax because it is 140 but I had allocated 132, so that was a typo on my part, which obviously meant that we were then £8 over. And then if we move on to utilities, this and I think giving are the only two categories that came in as budgeted, and that's usually always the case on a monthly basis. So utilities, water, gas and electricity was as budgeted, £160.15. Giving is something we do on a monthly basis, but we don't like to disclose the amount that we actually give on a monthly basis. But yeah, just know that the amount we said we were going to give is usually the same amount that we end up giving, unless something else kind of crops up in the month that we then want to put money towards. But generally speaking, our giving is usually as predicted and as planned. Okay, so moving on, we have subscriptions. And guys, this is where the budget basically went to pot and things kind of fell apart. So as you can see, TV license came in 6p under budget. That's fine. I'm not going to complain about that. I'm actually very strongly considering now actually cancelling my TV license. I think in my last budget walkthrough video, or one of my more recent ones, one of you actually commented on the fact that why are you paying for TV license? And it really did make me question myself, and it really made me reevaluate, like, do we actually need this TV license? Because we've been paying it year in, year out. And yes, we do watch daytime TV to an extent, but can I sacrifice and live without it? Probably, to be honest, because I don't watch it that much at all. So I'm still toying with the idea of just cancelling my TV license. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Should I cancel my TV license or should I just keep paying it on a monthly basis as I am doing already? Then we've got mobile phone bill, and my husband's and mine came out as budgeted. So that was great. Internet has gone up, and I need to let this reflect in the budget on a monthly basis because it has gone up by £5 every month for the past few months now. Moving on to Canva, that came in slightly under budget by 7p. Google Drive, guys. This was an expense that just hit us from nowhere. I say us, but it's actually me. It was an expense of mine. So I had subscribed to Google Drive over a year ago, and I totally forgot that I had signed up to it. And remember at the time I had reached the storage limit on my Google Drive. So like for my photos, my emails, etc. I was at the limit. I didn't have enough time to now go through all my pictures and videos and see what I can delete and reduce it so that I can fall back under the bandwidth. And at that time they had suspended my emails, and I was like, no, I can't afford not to be getting my emails through. So I just thought, okay, do you know what? I'm just going to expand the bandwidth, and then I'll just basically throughout the year reduce the amount of files that I'm using and the amount of storage that I'm using so that I can cancel it when it comes to another year. And I just totally forgot about it. Once I'd paid it last year, that was the end of it, until the transaction just went through the other day and I was billed for £79.99p, and I was just like, oh, for crying out loud, like, Tolu, how did you forget about this, and how have you ended up having to pay this £80? And I can't even now go back and get a refund because my Google Drive is even more full than it was a year ago. Like, the amount of storage space that I've been using is even a lot higher than it was a year ago, so it's going to take me even longer get the videos down and reduce the pictures down and make space on my Google Drive. But anyway, long story short, that is £80 that I had to find, which I had not budgeted for in the month of September. And if that wasn't enough of a big expense for me to take on in the month of September, my husband's Audible also renewed in the same month, because Audible is what, £70? Yeah, £70 for the annual subscription. And again, he had totally forgotten that that subscription was up for renewal. So that's what, £150 out of the budget that we hadn't planned for, that we hadn't budgeted for in the month of September. So that was another big L that we took in the month of September, and it just messed up our budget completely and just threw the numbers out of the water. So the number you probably guessed earlier, you could probably tell already it's higher than what you thought it was. I think this is probably going to be a record for me in terms of how much I've overspent my budget in the month of September. It's bad. It's very bad. So in total, our subscriptions that were budgeted at £127.62p, they came in at £282.47p, making our overspend for the month of September come in at £154.85p. So yeah. So if we add this already to the overspend from the groceries, you can see how left this is going right now, can't you? So then let's move on to transport. Because I told you, it just goes from bad to worse, right? So transport now. Let's go to petrol. So petrol, we budgeted £80, and that came in at £104.55. And to be honest, we probably could have got away with not spending all of that in the month of October. So we ended up taking a couple of long distance road trips which we hadn't planned for in the month of September, which basically took us over our £80 budget for the month. So that was £24.55 over. And then also train, we hadn't budgeted to get the train, but I had to take a couple of train trips. Parking, we budgeted £4, and that came in at £8. And then fine, guys, do you know what, yeah? As I'm going through this, I'm realising how bad of a month September was. Obviously, I knew it was a bad month, which is why I said it at the beginning of the video. But as I'm going through it line by line and talking it through, I'm just like, wow, you actually really had a crap September, didn't you? Like, yeah, it was bad. So guys, I got another parking fine. Another parking fine for £60 that I had to pay in the month of September, on top of all of these other unnecessary expenses that I was having to cover. Like, seriously, like, can it get any worse? Oh my days, I was so frustrated in September, like, you wouldn't believe it. It's just not a great month financially for us at all. £60 parking fine. I think parking fines, yeah, are like the worst thing ever. They really upset me, and you can tell by the way I'm getting all worked up as I'm talking about it, because they just really annoy me, because it's just like such a waste of money. It's just like, how Tolu, how are you doing this, taking this L once again in 2021? I can't even tell you the amount of parking tickets I've had this year. It's definitely been a few. It's been more than 4 and more than 5. It's definitely been more than I can count on one hand, which is way too many parking tickets, because that's just giving away money for nothing. And yeah, it's just very annoying. So then we move on to the total, and you can see that again, transport came in £95.50 over budget. Oh gosh. Yeah, it's a lot, guys. It's actually a lot. So let's move on now to fun and entertainment, and you can see that it's just getting worse as we're going through this budget. Now let's look at the fun and entertainment. So first of all, we've got adult 1 and adult 2. So myself and my husband, we didn't set ourselves any fun money for the month of September, because we knew we had all these other expenses that we had to pay for. So for the children, that was my oldest son's birthday, so we had given him a bigger budget of £200 and then £50 each for the other children. So the idea was that his birthday was going to come in at about £150. So that was the plan. Did Tolly stick to the budget? Did Tolly stick to the plan? No, she did not. Tolly got very carried away and was just swiping, buying everything under the sun for this boy's birthday. And yeah, I just literally killed the budget completely, like annihilated it. £178.69 I went over on this boy's birthday budget. So his actual birthday came in probably around £350, and then the extra money was just other stuff that we bought for him that month. But yeah, over £300 on a 7-year-old's birthday is excessive. I'm sorry, like it's unnecessary, and it's easy for me to say that now after I've spent all that money in all these shops and just, yeah, wasted a fortune. But 2022, these children are going to have a very different birthday, as in, I'm not playing. And I mean it, guys. I know you're probably thinking, yeah, sure, Tolly, whatever. But genuinely, guys, like, I'm being serious. 2022, I've got to do better. These boys need to have a strict birthday budget, and I need to make sure I stick to it. It's actually too much. It's actually too much. In 2022, I'm doing things differently. I already pre-warned all of the boys, because he was the last one to have a birthday. The younger two had already had their birthdays this year, and they had equally expensive birthdays. So I was like, oh no, it's not fair that he now has to have a crap birthday because his birthday's last and there's not enough money. So I just ended up, yeah, doing the most for his birthday. But I've warned all of them. I said, listen, 2022, your birthdays are going to be very different. You're going to get one birthday present each, and that is it. Grandma, granddad, all those people, they can buy you whatever they want to buy you. But as for me and your dad, we're getting you one present each. The way they were heartbroken, you would think I said Santa Claus is not real. Like, they were devastated. They were like, one present? What are we going to do? One present? And I was just like, yeah, nah, I've actually spoiled you children. Like, I've actually spoiled you children, because growing up, one present, that was a luxury. You're talking about one present as if it's a bad thing. Like, you should be happy to get that one gift. But yeah, they'll know next year it's going to be very different. A very different state of affairs. And I will not be overspending on birthdays anymore. So please hold me to these words, guys, because yeah, it's just too much. But anyway, rant over. His birthday literally blew my budget. So yeah, in total, you can see overspend on fun and entertainment was £178.69. Gosh, yeah, it was a lot. So then we've got insurance, we've got car, home, life, and parents' life insurance. You can see that the parents' life insurance once again didn't come out. We finally got to the bottom of it and realised that the money's been taken from a different account, not our own. So that's why we weren't paying it all this time. So we're going to work out whether or not his parents are going to keep paying for it, or whether we're going to take it back on and add it to our budget spreadsheet. So we're not quite sure what's going to happen with that just yet, whether his parents are going to take it on or we're going to keep paying for it. But either way, if it disappears from the budget, then you'll know why. Moving on, we've got childcare. That was £416 as budgeted. And then we've got miscellaneous. We had a miscellaneous house expense, which was £20. I can't remember what that was, to be honest. Subscriptions, I took out Amazon Prime for the month. Remember I was saying about my son's birthday? I took out Prime so I can get all these gifts last minute for him. Like, yeah, I really did the most in September. But yeah, that was £7.99. And then kids expenses. So I think I mentioned in the September budget walkthrough that my sons were going back to school, or starting school in the case of my second son, and yeah, needed to buy their school uniform, etc. So I had bought most of their school uniform, I think, when I even did the budget walkthrough. I just needed to get shoes for one of my sons, which then took us over the budget slightly by £1.87p, which I guess compared to everything else is not too bad, but it's still over budget nonetheless. So in total, Miscellaneous took us over budget by £29.50p. And then the tax bill, that came out as budgeted. And then moving on to savings, and we only sent £100 to the emergency fund as planned, and then we invested £106.80p. Now guys, are you ready for the grand finale and ready to see exactly where we finished out on our budget in the month of September? Take a deep breath because it's a lot. We overspent by £512.21p. Over £500 over budget, guys. Can you deep how bad that is? So what that means is, come October, when I do the budget walkthrough, I'm going to be £500 plus down. So I have a lot less money to play with for the month. Thankfully, although we've overspent, we haven't had to acquire any debt in order to make those payments. It was just a case of basically the first week's pay for the month of October has already been spent, because my husband gets paid weekly. So every week we take that money and store it up towards the end of the month when I then get paid and add that to it as well. It's better to manage the money that you have well and not overspend. And I guess the key lesson here is to note down any subscriptions that you have that are annual. That's the mistake we made, because those 2 annual subscriptions, we should have known that they were coming and been saving towards them, rather than just being like blindsided all in one go that we need to pay an extra £150. Also, when it comes to your children, don't go crazy when it's their birthdays. It's literally just one day of the year. The next day after his birthday, I felt so silly. I was just like, Tolly, seriously, like, why did you do that? But at the time, the week leading up to it, I was just carried away, like, oh my gosh, my firstborn is gonna be 7, and I just wanted him to have the most amazing day, which is understandable, I guess. As parents, we want the best for our kids, but it's not worth it at the sacrifice of your own financial future. So please learn from my mistakes and don't do the same thing. Have that budget for the birthday and stick to it, and don't deviate from the plan, because yeah, I deviated from it big time. But that's literally it for today's video, guys. I wanted to bring you my September 2021 budget. I like to share the good, the bad and the ugly. Today was definitely the ugly. If you want to see how my October is planning out, what I'm planning to spend my money on, my different spending categories, then definitely subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, because that video is going to be coming out very soon. But that's literally it for today's video, guys. If you've enjoyed the video and you've made it this far and you haven't given it a thumbs up, do me a favor please and give it a thumbs up, just to make me feel a bit better about how bad my September went. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet done so. Share this video with a friend or family member, and I will see you soon for another video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.